Hello, we are in Unit 3. This is Module 1, Session 2. The name of this home connection is Skills Review 2. Let's dig in. Oh, did you know that there are 14 lifesaver candies in a roll of lifesavers? Fill in the blanks on the ratio table to show how many lifesavers there are in different numbers of rolls. So I might have one roll with 14 lifesavers in it, or I could have more, and that's what we're going to figure out today. So one roll is 14. 3 rolls would be 3 times that number, wouldn't it? So I'm going to be doing number 1 with you because number 2 is very similar. We're going to be talking about billiard balls, like for playing pool. But up here, let me help you out and take you through my thinking. If one roll is 14, 3 rolls is going to be 3 times that number. You could do it a couple different ways. I could add 14 3 times, couldn't I? Yeah, that would work. 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's 12. Carry the 1. Looks like there's 4 ones there, so that answer would be 42 lifesavers. We also know that, just by the way we said it, if there's one roll has 14, 3 rolls would have 3 times as many. I could just take 14 times 3 and do the same thing. I could stack it. 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, add 1 is 4. I get the same answer. Okay? Now, what am I thinking as I move on to 56 lifesavers? 3 is 42. 56, that doesn't appear to be that much more. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take 42, which is 3 rolls, and I'm going to add 14 more to it, which would be 4 rolls, just to see. And that is 56, which is the number we're looking for. So if 42 is 3, if I add another 14 to it, that would be 4 rolls. Okay, I hope that you are following what I'm thinking, because I want us to be on the same page. Now, 1, 3, 4, skip to a big number. Skip to a big number? How did I get from 4 to 8? How do I turn 4 into 8? I take it times 2. So I can take 56, and I can also take it times 2. And so I could do that 2 ways, but I'm going to just do 56 plus 56, because that's the same as taking it times 2. 6 plus 6 is 12, carry the 1. 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11, so I have 112 lifesavers. Okay? Now, we as mathematicians, you are doing math right now, so you are a mathematician. We as mathematicians love patterns, and I see something very unusual here. Not unusual, interesting. 140. 112, 5, 6, 4, 2. 1, 4. 1 times 14 is 14. This number times 14 is 140. It looks like we're going to use our zeros principle, because guess what? 1 times 14 is 14. 1 with a 0 on the end of it, which is 10, times 14 should be 140, because we know the rule is if you take any number, like 14, and you take it times 10, your answer has to be 14 with a 0 added to the end. 140. Bada boom. And you're going to notice on the next question that you're going to see a pattern very similar to that. So make sure you're looking for them. As you go, by the way, pause this video whenever you want to. As you go through this next problem, look for patterns. First off, looks familiar, okay? And then as you go through here, this answer here, by the way, is going to be either a 3 or it's going to be 4. You have to figure out, is it 3, is it 4? Well, what I would do is, after you figure out this number, add another 16 to see if it's 3, and if it's not, add another 16 to see if it's 4. Okay, that's going to help you. And then 5, you could stack 16 times 5 if you want to do it that way, or you could keep adding 16s. It's up to you. Try to do the least amount of work and still be very accurate, okay? 3 and 4 are the same. You're trying to list factor pairs for the number 36. And then down here 42. Both of these numbers I know are not prime, because they are even numbers. Any number that ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or an 8 is an even number. And this ends in a 6 and this ends in a 2, therefore they are both even. So I know that these numbers are not prime, okay? And that's going to help us. Why? Let me take the number 36. And then I know that every number can be multiplied by 1, and the number. 1 times 36 is 36. Make your rainbow, okay? Now, if this number were prime, that's all we could multiply to get 36. But this is an even number, so I know that you can multiply any number by 2. You can multiply a number by 2 to get 36. And in this case, it's 18. 2 times 18 equals 36, okay? And then, well, I by process of elimination, I do know that this number is also could be the product of 3 and another number. I kind of know that because it has a 3 and a 6 in it, and both of these numbers are divisible by 3, but that might be secret math that you don't know yet, and that's okay. But I need to figure out 3 times what is 36? Well, 3 times 11 is 33, so that's not going to work. That's too small. What about 3 times 12? 12, 24, 36. Yeah, that works. So 12 times 3 is 36. I'm going to see if there's, I don't know, but what do we think? Is there a 4 that we could multiply? Let's see, counting by 4s. 5, 10, 15, 20. 5 doesn't work. 6, 12, 18, 24. Nope. 7, 14, 21, 28. Nope. 8, 16, 24, 32. No, that doesn't work. 9, 18, 27, 36. Aha! 4 9s. If I take 4 times 9, I can get 36. And then I know from doing math for a while that 36 is also a square number. One of my math facts that I know is that 6 times 6 is 36. So this is a huge rainbow. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Now, you could check all the other numbers. You could count by 5s. No, you can't get to 36. You could count by 7s. No, that doesn't get you there. You could count by 8s. No, that doesn't get you there. But what I will tell you is when you get to a number, let's see, if you go from 4, you could count 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and check those numbers. However, since I know that 6 is a square, I know that there's nothing above 6 that's going to be on this side of the rainbow. And that might be a little bit too much for today. But if you're checking numbers and you get a little frustrated, you may be doing a little bit too much work, because if you get to half the number, you've gone too far. So if you're counting by 18s, you should really stop. Okay? Now, when you do 42, where's my black? I want you to do something very similar. Just to help you out, you are going to have 1 and 42 to start. All these are going to go in numerical order. Hopefully you notice that. So you do have 1 and 42. I'm going to help you out just by letting you know that there are going to be 3 more factor pairs for this number. Okay? All right. Groovy. Actually, hold on. I've got a little cheat sheet over here. Let me do my rainbow real quick. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah. Just making sure that I was telling you the truth. Don't want you to be looking for something that doesn't exist. On the back side, we get to do some drawing, and I'm going to show you, the area model for this, because I think you can almost make no mistakes if you're very solid with this. What do I mean by that? Bryce has a rug that's 14 tall and 16 wide. So if I draw my rug, maybe something like this, you could do it 2 ways. You could think 14, 16, and you're like, it wants to know the area. What's the area? What is this number on the inside? Well, that's going to be 14 times 16, because we know that area is how tall something is by how wide it is, okay? And we're going to be measuring in square decimeters. So whatever your answer is, it's going to be in square decimeters, okay? By the way, you can pause this video anytime you want and work this out and then play it to see if we get a similar answer, okay? I, however, really like the idea of taking the rectangle and splitting it into friendly numbers. For instance, 14 is the same as 10 plus 4. So I go down like a decimeter or whatever, go down 10 units, and then I just draw my line, and I'll say this is 4, okay? And then here, going across, I'm going to go 10 units over. I'm just guessing, and then I'm going to say that here's where the 6 starts, okay? And it doesn't look perfect, but I have a 10 and a 10, a 4 and a 6. So let's do some math. 10 times 10, 100, okay? Now, in this rectangle here, it's 4 tall, 10 wide. 4 times 10 is 40. I'm going to move over to this one next. This is 10. This is 6. 10 times 6 is 60. This is 4 tall. This is 6 wide. 4 times 6 is 24. And now to find the area, I'm going to add all of my 4 rectangles together. 100 plus 60 plus 40 plus 24. You have more options. You can take 14 times 16. Maybe you break it apart by taking 10 times 16 and then 4 times 16. And then whatever these answers are, you add them together. You're going to get the same answer. But you might not want to take 4 times 16, right? Some double-digit numbers are a little tricky. So that is something that I would consider doing, especially on problem number 6. This bedroom is 13 feet long, 15 feet wide. So you sketch it out. And then you're going to find the area. Once again, area is how tall it is, the height, times how wide it is. So this number times this number. Okay? But I'm going to break it apart into friendly numbers. So I'm going to take 10 and 1, that's 11. Okay? And I'm going to split up 13 into 10 and 3. Okay? So I come down whatever I think about 10 is, and then I draw my line. So this is 1. Okay? I come across 10, and then I stop where I think the 3 is going to begin. I draw my line. We'll call that 3. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then what am I going to do? Well, the same thing we did in the problem above. 10 times 10 is 100. This is 1 times, what did we say this was? 10 is 10. 1 times 10 is 10. This is 10 times 3, 30. This is 1 times 3, which is 3. What is my area? All of these numbers added together. Now, once again, if you like to do the math, the actual multiplying of 13 times 11, right? Maybe you break it down and you take 13 times 10 and then 13 times 1, because 10 and 1 add up to 11. Whatever these two answers are, you add them together. It will be the exact same answer as adding up all of the rectangles. Interestingly enough, you could check your work by doing that. If you add these up and you write it down, and then you add these up and you write it down, and those answers don't agree, there's a good chance you messed up somewhere along the way. And that would be nice to know before you're done with it, right? Especially on a test. If you can check your work, check your work. Ella and Jade both ran a marathon. Ella finished in 4 hours, 6 minutes, and 13 seconds. Jade finished in 4 hours, 3 minutes, and 18 seconds. Who was faster? By how many seconds? Ooh, by how many seconds? We're going to have to keep that in our brains, okay? Do not let that leave your brain. And you can show your work. Well, let's compare the two. 4 hours, 6 minutes, 13 seconds. That was Ella. Jade, however, let's see what her time was. Jade said that she finished in 4 hours, 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Now, we know that the person who finished the race first had the shorter time, right? So 4 hours, these are both the same. 6 and 3 are not. Which one took less time? Jade did. So that we know that Jade was faster. By how many seconds? Ooh, this is going to be tough. How do I know it's going to be tough? Well, when I look at this, it looks like that would be 3 minutes faster. 6 minus 3 is 3. But I have this issue with seconds. I can't take 13 and subtract 18 because that doesn't quite work, right? what would happen if I subtracted 18 from 13, right? So if I took 13 and I'm going to subtract 18, okay, I can take 13 away from this for it to be 0, right? So I can take 13 away from 18, and then I can take 13 out of the 18, and then how many would I have left? I'd have 5 left. So these 5 seconds that I can't take from here, because I've already taken all of them away, has to be taken from one of my remaining minutes. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. And I'm going to show you 2 ways to think of this. So if I have 3 minutes and I'm going to subtract 5 seconds, well, I can keep 2 of the minutes and I'm going to turn one of those minutes into 2 minutes, and then I'm going to have 60 seconds. I'm going to take 5 away from my seconds, and so I guess I could write that out, minus 5 seconds. So that means I would have 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay. And then that would be my answer. All right. If I wanted to approach this from a completely different way, I'm going to take this 6 minutes and this 3 minutes and turn them into seconds. Okay. 6 times 60 is 360. 3 times 60 is 180. Add 13. Add 18. Okay. If I do that, what do I get? Well, this turns into 373. This number turns into 198. I'm going to subtract these 2 numbers. Okay. I'm going to borrow here, so this turns into a 6. We've got a 13, so that would be 5. I'm going to borrow from this one, and that becomes 16 minus 9 is 7. 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's 175 seconds is my difference. Now, if I take 175 and I divide it by 60, I'm going to end up with a remainder. So what number can I take times 60 to get close to 75? 2. That it would give me 120. Okay? How many seconds would I have left? Remainder 55. So guess what? The answers are the same. It's kind of a long way to get there, but if you know how to solve it more than one way, it can be fun. It can also check your work. A little bit of a longer video today. I apologize, but we're getting into some really good stuff, and we need to know that your brain can be flexible enough to know when some numbers don't work out really well, and you have to think in different ways, okay? Like usual, if you have questions, ask your teacher, ask a trusted adult, or one of your math wizard friends, okay? Catch you later.